to a quick overview of the Elementalist class for Guild Wars 2. This series is designed to explain the feel and the base level mechanics of Guild Wars 2's classes and their elite specializations to help those looking to answer the eternal question, what should I play? This series is not designed to take an in-depth look at those elite specializations to see where everyone currently fits in the meta, though it does touch on some of the boons they can provide. It instead looks on how the classes feel, which doesn't change, as opposed to the things that do, which is relative damage and how useful things are at the moment. It's much more important to find something you enjoy playing and enjoy looking at the effects of, as opposed to chasing a little bit of damage here or there. Hopefully this helps. The Elementalist most resembles a standard finger wiggler from other classes, though the Guild Wars 2 implementation has some notable differences. The trade-off of the Elementalist is losing their ability to weapon swap in combat, making them one of only two classes who cannot do this. Instead, the Elementalist has the ability to swap elemental attunements, granting them entirely new weapon skills based on their elemental attunement. A traditional Elementalist weapon set, therefore, gives access to 20 different weapon skills instead of the normal 5, spread out through each of the 4 elements: fire, air, water, and earth. Fire skills are primarily damage-based and apply burning. Water skills are generally support-based skills that can heal, or damage skills that can chill. Air skills provide damage and crowd control effects, and earth skills cause bleeding and are also supportive. To complement those, the Elementalist has access to a variety of elemental-based utility skills, most of which will change the effects based on the attunement. Glyph of Elementals, for instance, will summon an elemental based on the current attunement, where Glyph of Storms will summon a large area of effect storm based on that attunement. To round out their schools of magic, the Elementalist also has access to arcane skills, a utility line of generally fast casting and high crit but low base damage spells. For weapons, the Elementalist has access to staves, a two-handed option that has ranged abilities, the scepter, a ranged one-handed melee weapon, an offhanded focus for a defensive option, or main and offhand daggers, which focus on close range abilities. In the Heart of Thorns, the Elementalist gains access to the Tempest, a volatile elite spec, which gains power from overloading their attunements. After remaining in a single elemental attunement for several seconds, the Tempest can re-attune to that element, creating a large area of effect overload concentrated on their location, which provides boons and deals significant amounts of damage. As a trade-off, they have an increased amount of time before they can attune back to that elemental once they switch off. The signature weapon of the Tempest, the Warhorn, is an offhanded weapon that provides access to a significant number of field effects as well as new boons to complement their toolkit. Additionally, the Tempest is the Elementalist's source of alacrity, which it can provide with trade choices through its overload abilities. With Path of Fire, the Elementalist asks a very simple question: what about second attunement? The Weaver specialization will remember the element the Elementalist attunes out of, as well as the attunement it is attuning into, to create new weapon effects based on those skills. One attunement will determine the first and second skill on their bar, the second attunement will determine the fourth and fifth skill on their bar, and then the combination of attunements will form a third skill on their bar based on the two, not based on the order of the two. For instance, swapping to fire and air would give them fire main hand skills and air offhand skills along with a fire and air third skill. Swapping to air and fire would give them air attacks in their first 2 skills, fire attacks in their second 2 skills, but the same third skill as it is both air and fire. The Weaver's signature weapon, the Sword, is a potent focus for its elemental magics, and contains a full melee combo in every element. To complement those abilities, the Weaver gains a skill line of stances, one based on each element, and then one that changes with current elements, where their elite skill, Weave Self, lowers the cooldown of attunements, provides buffs for attuning to each element, and gives the Weaver a stacking damage buff and a speed buff should they manage to attune to all 4 elements during the original window. The Weaver is an incredibly fast-paced specialization that benefits greatly from swapping in and out of different attunements to make use of all of its available weapon skills and combinations, and it is considered by many to be the highest APM spec in the game, regardless of going power or condition damage. With the End of Dragons, the Elementalist learns to harness the power of Dragon Jade, weaving it into the elementals through the Catalyst specialization. While attuned to an element, the Catalyst can deploy a Jade Sphere to orbit them, providing boons and creating combo fields. The Catalyst weapon, the Hammer, further amplifies these concepts, with each elemental providing a projectile of that element to circle the caster, damaging enemies who are struck by it. Those projectiles can then be unleashed by reusing the skills that summon them, firing all stored projectiles at the target. The utility skills of the Catalyst, Augments, provide temporary buffs to the Elementalist when hitting with their weapons, and if cast while in range of a Jade Sphere of the same attunement, will have additional duration. The Catalyst is also Elementalist's source of quickness. In Secrets of the Obscure, the Elementalist gains access to main hand pistols, a medium-ranged weapon which applies a significant number of conditions, and can store ammunition that can then be expended through different skills to fire elemental bullets at the target. In Janthier Wilds, the Elementalist learns the way of the Spear, a weapon that can create elemental fields and rewards you for using more abilities of that element inside those fields. Although each Guild Wars 2 elite specialization came with its own signature weapon that only that specialization could use, with the advent of Weapon Master training in Secrets of the Obscure, this is no longer the case. So long as the corresponding expansion for each weapon is owned, that weapon may be unlocked for use across the account. This allows builds now to use weapons that they wouldn't otherwise have access to in the past. Thank you all for taking the time to listen to this video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all the fun things that you have to do for YouTube. And I will catch you in the next video.